Hello, this is Greg Allison, Green Greg's, come to you on the 12th of January, 2021. Time on deck is 20:09 hours. What happens when you put a cap on a pressure cooker that's boiling, when they don't have any pressure release? What happens to that pressure cooker as the heat continues and the boiling continues? What happens when you corner a wild animal and it knows it's in peril? What happens? These are the things that are happening right now. With the limitations of our freedom of speech, the pressure cooker cap is on. With the other limitations and accusations of groups being made, certain groups in this country, vast majority of a vast number of people are being indeed cornered. And some people may be giddy with glee with over all this, but I'm going to tell you the results are going to be far less than spectacular. My friends, we are in a time of great peril. Great peril. There have been a lot of false hopes put out there, a lot of psyops, and there's a lot of traps in the days to come. And we're going to talk about those. You need to be aware of these traps and what may well be false psyops. And I hope they're not all false psyops, but that's the way it's looking. And we're going to talk, we got some announcements to make about Pence, about Roger Stone. We've had the president speaking, we've had Mike Pompeo speaking, a lot of things, but there's things that we just need to go over some of this stuff. And the reason we do this is for you to keep your eyes wide open and head on the swivel. Whichever side of the spectrum you're on, I'm going to give you good advice today. Advice that will keep you and your family safe. Because there's a proposition on my channel to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Some people are all begging for the hive, and the hive is coming. If we don't do something, there's a hive coming down hard and fast. Yeah. So how do we get ready for it? How do we get ready for it? Well, I do tell you to eat from the weeds and the trees. That's free. I tell you to go to big box stores. I tell you to start brushing up on your skills. That's one thing you need to do. You need to start brushing up on your skills, your survival skills, your bushcraft skills, your prepping skills, all these things. Learn knot tying, learn hiking. Maybe you need to get out a little bit if you can. But most of all, right now, you've got to take some immediate steps for the next few days, week or two, in case martial law is invoked by either side. I don't think Trump's going to do that. I'm going to talk about why. And maybe even more likely from the other side. So, yeah, you might be surprised at what might come these next few days. It could be off the charts in either direction as a result of what went down post-election. So, one thing you can do is, hey, go to the gas station, fill up. Go get some gas cans, fill up extra gas cans. Go to the grocery store, stock up. Go to the big box store. Yeah, do those things now. And hey, the worst thing is you won't have to buy groceries a week or two later. You'll get a little bit more. And there's that old saying, stack them high in the rafters. That's what you need to do if you can do it, because we don't know what else is going to come down to us. Look, this decade it started out nuts. 2020 was bad. 2021 might make 2020 look like a picnic. For that reason, you also need to do long range preparation. Right now is the time to get your seed. You can check with me on True Leaf Market. Go to my True Leaf Market links for seeds, because if the grid goes down, you might not be able to order them in time for the planting season. And also, I do have the special. Still, you can get $70 off if you go to prepwithgreg.com. A 4-week supply of food for an individual that will last 25 years on the shelf or wherever. And it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day. You'll be a winner. It's freeze-dried stuff. It makes it lightweight, but it's real food, real meals. This isn't the MRE stuff. I hated MREs. When I was in the Army, went in, we had sea rats at first. I love sea rats. Yeah, they were a little canny tasting, but hey, a John Wayne cookie, which always had the chocolate and the cracker taste always kind of mixed together. So some of you older guys might remember that stuff. But You know, I always like open them, but you know, cans just aren't practical to carry. That stuff's a lot more practical to carry. It's a whole lot better than the MRE. Throw it in your, take the pouches out, throw it in your backpack, and off you go. But the good thing about prepwithgreg.com, click on the My Patriot Supply logo and go into the website. Look at all the other prepping supplies they got. That's what you need to be looking at right now. Look at that stuff. Do go there. All right. Enough said. You know, some of the things we're going to cover. We're going to go into this pressure cooker. Then I had a very pointed question asked of me in my video that I posted late last night. And we need to go over that. We need to go over that because this was from a person who felt cornered. Like there's no way out. Like that animal in the corner. How do we deal with that today? What do we do? And, you know, there's some other things here that are under great challenge. Y'all may recall I have talked often for that amendment right there, but this one right here is definitely under scare. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, peaceably, and to petition the government for redresses of grievances. Well, my friends, that's all being possibly swept away. That has all been challenged. And in the Second Amendment, holy smoke, you know that's been challenged. In fact, everything in here, from the founding documents of our very Declaration of Independence to the Constitution itself, is at risk. But we will talk about that. We want to go through that. So I'm going to do some sharing here. Let's go to PowerPoint. You know, us engineers love PowerPoint. So that's where we're heading first. PowerPoint. Points of power of the hour. Ding dong. Okay. Yeah, pressure cooker capped and avoiding the trap. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. Avoiding the trap and this cap on the pressure cooker. The good news is, for some, you won't all agree with this, but it is news, is that Pence has ruled out invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump. That's not something that Congress can actually mandate. That actually is something that would be initiated from within the administration typically, but you know, Congress tried to force that. And maybe Pence is already feeling a lot of heat. I don't know. He's definitely getting a lot of heat. He has probably limited his career to some degree, and he don't want any more heat. So, and there may be other things to it. I don't know, but he's decided that was uncalled for. He's not going down that road. So that's interesting. But Roger Stone, which a lot of you probably don't like. You know, he's been in the campaigns of quite a few conservative politicians, and he appeared on D-Live channel, on this Pete Santilli D-Live channel tonight. And Roger Stone said, see, Roger Stone knows President Trump personally. They are personal, good, close friends. And according to Roger Stone, according to him, he said that there isn't, Trump has not signed the Insurrection Act. He said there will be no mass arrest, and I can explain that from other angles too. He said Trump will not concede, but that Biden will be sworn in. The concede would be to admit that the election was above board, and Trump sees that otherwise. So I'm not taking a side on that. I'm just telling you what Roger Stone is saying and how Trump views it according to Roger Stone. Okay. But Roger Stone further said that within a year, Biden will be hated worse than Herbert Hoover due to his dark winter policies and other things. He said in a year, our nation will be a wreck and people would be begging for Trump. And he said a lot more, but yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute. He said a lot more, but on this thing of this Insurrection Act, Bear in mind that General Martin Miley, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has said that he is going to assist the transition, that he will not use the troops. He said he will not use the troops for this kind of stuff. He said that, and he's also been in concert and talks with Pelosi. So Speaker of the House Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. So he's been in talks with her, and she's been confiding with him. You got to remember, he is an Obama appointee, and in fact, Roger Stone said every general within the military above 3 stars, every general and admiral 3 stars and up within the military, he said they're all deep state, every one. And you might remember that President Obama replaced field grade officers. Field grade officers are colonels and up, 05s and up. He said he replaced, said that Obama replaced hundreds of these. There's only 231 generals in the military. And some of these talking about in the entire U.S. military, it's only 231 generals. I don't know if that count includes admirals or not. I'd have to go back and double check. But 231. Now, some of you may have heard of this claim that there's 200 or 300 generals that are supporting Trump and they're going to do all these things. Well, yeah, active duty generals. Yeah, where are they going to find all those? So, there's a lot of holes in some of the things going around. We're going to hit some more on that in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to share the link to this site. This is, he's quite a political artist. And this is what a lot of people are feeling. Now, some people on the left side may not agree with this, but quite frankly, social platforms have been deplatformed. People that speak anywhere on the conservative side of the spectrum are being shut down to a large degree. Certain things are said, you're out. So that's the way this is happening. A lot of people being deplatformed. And so that is creating a lot of issues in the community. This is why people feel that there's a cap on the pressure cooker. And this is another way of illustrating this art by the same artist here. I will share a link to his site so you can go check him out. But so this, I'm just showing this as commentary, not as artwork. But so the social media stuff is beginning to backfire. As you can see in Idaho, the legislature's voting to block Facebook and Twitter. I don't know how they do that, but that's kind of interesting. So yeah, look out, Mr. Zuckerberg. And another thing is Twitter stocks are dropping, and people are jumping all over other platforms right now. Other platforms are growing rapidly. And if President Trump wants to become richer than this guy here, all he's got to do is create his own platforms, his own news media, and people will flock to him in the droves. I mean, guys, at least 48 million people voted for President Trump. That's more than ever voted for any sitting president. So to disenfranchise all those people, that many people, and put a cap on them, and to think that's okay and be giddy with it and think you can totally marginalize that many people in this country, that's a bit short-sighted. We're going to go more into that here in a minute. So a lot of people are switching, like I said, to these other platforms, not necessarily the ones listed in the right column. This is someone's example. I've heard that Rumble is, also not all that great and wonderful. Now, hey, I'm here on YouTube. YouTube's got its place. It's definitely got a lot of people out here. So it's definitely it's where the people are at. But some of these other platforms are growing. Now, I just mentioned DLive a moment ago. So now here's some of the things that is coming up in Congress. HR 127. Think about that. This is being offered by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. But they want to license ammo, all kind of stuff. Wow, registrations. Yeah, that's going to go over like a lead balloon in lots of communities, including, I don't think it would be accepted within the state she's coming from, maybe in her little enclave. Here's more developing. Democrats in both the House and Senate are planning to draft legislation to classify MAGA rallies. it didn't say protests, it didn't say riots, rallies, as domestic terrorist activity, and require the FBI, DOJ, and DHS to take steps to prevent such domestic terrorism. And that's Senator Durbin that's leading this effort with Representative Schneider out of the House. What did I say about the First Amendment? Wow. And more. Capitol right leaves Democrats split over domestic terrorism law and criminalizing dissent. So there it is. This is going on. This is out of Fox News. This is a tweet. You know, I'm getting this from different sources. You know, these things are coming from many different sources. I believe I got that from Newsmax. So many different sources are carrying these things. And you can find this stuff even, you know, in the other lamestream news media. But this one really is chilling. This comes from Zero Hedge. From Zero Hedge, PBS top lawyer, this is public broadcasting system, a public funded platform. So why is a public funded platform representative using his position there, talking partisan politics, especially in this type of appointed matter? This person ought to be reviewed for this. He says, government should build enlightenment camps. Enlightenment camps. Well, what does that sound like? And remove children from Trump supporting homes. Did I say about those 48 million voters? Wow. You know, guys, they're throwing gasoline on the fire here. They're just throwing gasoline on. What's all this talk about kumbaya and coming together? You know, you listen to what a lot of these politicians are saying right now. They're gloating. They think they've got a huge mandate, and they're wanting to push through all kind of stuff, taking away the First, Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, and 10th Amendments if they can. They ignore the 9th Amendment completely. That's probably one of the most important amendments. It says that any right is ours. It's not enumerated otherwise. Yeah, they seem to not understand what that means. So, gentlemen, ladies, oh my God, it's got some bad language in it. Oops. Get off that page. Oh yeah, I don't allow that kind of language on my page. If I saw that, I'd have blotted it. My bad. But that's the way they talk. See, that's just how they are. You know, they just all kind of foulness, nastiness. Oh my gosh. Natalie Allison, I wonder if she's related. Wrote this article. Tennessee's 112th Assembly begins amid FBI investigations. Yeah, see, the FBI is all over the state legislators and senators looking through their offices, going to their homes. Interesting. So they're out there. Things are happening. Forces are being deployed and they're combing through things, guys. So traps are being set. We're going to go into that a little bit more. Hang on. But, you know, so this is what they want to criminalize. This is considered a insurgency. They put the big T on this. Nowhere in any of these. Yep. Hey, they should not have broken in. Lots of people in this crowd were saying, no, don't go, as you remember. No, don't go. But some did. The vast majority did not. But they want to paint them all with the same brush. However, even to those that went in, they were only there for a few hours and they left. There were no flames licking the skies. Yeah, they did trash a few things. You know, there was a lectern moved. It wasn't taken. It was moved, as they see now. And there were a few individuals there, just a few, that might have had some ill intentions. But you get a crowd this big, you know, things like that can happen. The tensions were high. But by and far, they were a vast minority. But it only takes a few bad apples to run it for everyone. But look, guys, like I said, what flames do you see here? What about here? Here? Here. Well, it looks different, don't it? Unfortunately, 5 people are no longer with us that went to this. Here, 25. This is from the summer. This is the stuff that's happening over the summer. 25 people are no longer with us as a result of this. Lots of businesses destroyed. Federal and state facilities, and police facilities taken over for weeks at a time downtown sections, businesses trashed, put out of business for some good time, and lots of people injured. These are insurgents. They put the T word on them. These were doing what they had to do, according to the same sources. Really? Doesn't that seem slightly slanted? Oh no, can't be, can't be. I must have my head on backwards or something here. Oh well. And all these, now look here. You don't see anybody even looking mad here. They're smiling or looking up. Some are looking in wonder here. What? Laughing, smiling. I don't know. I'm not seeing a whole lot of anger in that photograph, at least. Maybe some angry people a few steps from there, but not here. That ain't angry. Nah. All these white nationalists, what are they doing there? Oh my gosh. All these racist white nationalists. They shouldn't be there, white supremacists. Oh my gosh. What are they doing there? Anyway. Oh my gosh. Somebody needs to tell these people, you know, that y'all, what are y'all doing? Right? Okay, here's my tough question. Here is my tough question given to me. And it's a kind of a multi-part thing. The point, and I've paraphrased it some to get it in here and to make it maybe a little less pointy. And I even thought, you know, I was concerned leaving this question up because the platform is so sensitive. Talking about it could bring heat on my head. This platform is so sensitive. You got to be careful what you say on this platform. It's not a freedom of speech platform. And being on here, and especially covering prepping topics and talking about what's going on in the world, it's like walking on eggshells on thin ice in an earthquake when meteorites are hitting ice all around you. So yeah, it's a very dicey situation. You got to be so careful. Anyway, that's a tough question this individual asked. And I could have ignored it, but if I ignore it, this is a sentiment that's out there. This is a prevalent sentiment out there. You can't ignore this stuff. This is the pressure cooker. So this is the pressure cooker. This is the sentiments of an animal backed into a corner. It's like, where'd I go? I've got no recourse. You've taken everything from me and you're going to eat me. So if there's an animal cornered and it just knows that you're going to eat it and it has no other way out, it can't run, what's it going to do? So this individual says they've taken the right of speech, the right to peaceably assemble, and taken away the representation in government we had away. Okay, there's a little bit of double language there. Now, this is what the individual says. This is the individual's perception. Now, whether you agree with it or not, this is the perception of millions of Americans right now. Millions of, the social media can shut all that down. And you can call it a lie, you can call it anything you want to, but this is what's in the hearts and minds of millions of Americans. And if you try to ignore it, you just put the cap on a pressure cooker and it's going to go off. And by limiting free speech, by telling people they can't assemble, you are throwing gas on the fire. You're making it worse. You've cornered the beast. That's what, if you're for taking away free speech and doing all these things, you're not making things easier. You're not making things safer. You're going to make it get more contested. Those are not pathways to peace. Those are not reaching out, trying to see things the way the other person does, to try to build bridges. That is creating a conflict atmosphere. You have thrown a whole ton of gas in the fire. And a stick of dynamite, lit stick of dynamite to set it off. That's what's happening here. I mean, that's the way I see it. And this individual feels it. And that's why this individual put this out there and went all into it. And you might be aware that there's something called democracy. More people died at the hands of their own governments in the 20th century that died in World War I, II, and all the other wars combined. And most of them in communist countries. Yeah, and we know Hitler got a few people, 6 million. It's thought that Stalin took out 60 million. His predecessor a few, and his successors a few too, but mainly Stalin. Mao Zedong is credited possibly of taking as many, potentially as 80 million of his own people. Then there was Pol Pot with the Khmer Rouge, took out 1/3 of the people in his nation. The first thing they always do is they always take up the rights for people to protect themselves in the name of their safety. Oh, you need safety. In the name of your safety, let's take up your right to protect yourself. Oh, it's dangerous. You can't have those toys. So in the name of their safety, they take those up, then they come get them. Yeah, that's what happens. So, excuse me, that may be why people are a little bit reticent to have certain rights taken from them, because they're seeing the country go hard left. Whether you believe it or not. I mean, I listen, oh, that's false. I have a lot of you scream, that's false, that's fake, that's lies. It doesn't matter what you think. This is what other people think. And I'm telling you right now, the people on the right feel cornered, threatened. They feel very threatened and very cornered, and the cap is on the pressure cooker. Whether you believe it or not, that's how they feel. And that's all I'm telling you. So I'm telling you how they feel. And that's dangerous. Now, I'm going to talk about a way out of this, other than means that aren't peaceful, at least hopeful potential ways out of this. This may not turn out pretty. This may turn out extremely ugly. It may not go peaceable. But I'm trying to help everybody involved here. So just hang on to your hat, okay? Hang on to your hat. Because this person says they control all parts of government. Well, actually, the Supreme Court currently is still allegedly on the conservative side of the slate. Although I would say that Justice Roberts, nah, he is a globalist. Oh yeah, those generals I was talking about, like Mark Miley, globalist. So go figure that. So do you still think there's a legal avenue? Yes, there is. There is still for now. You expect us to stay peaceful? Yes, you need to try. I don't advocate breaking laws or anything that's illegal. What exactly is our plan to win? All right, that's where we're going. I did take out a couple of other comments that followed this. There are people, just because I don't want my channel to be used as a platform to incite things that are not peaceful. So I did delete another comment, and to that commenter, I must pay certain respects for the sentiments and the emotion felt, but let's just try to be peaceful here, okay? Let's try to see our way through these things in a good way. And the crazy thing is, the algorithm may still, even though I'm sitting here trying to call for peace and calm things down, and probably the one channel that's doing that more than anybody, I might get beamed hard for this, just for talking about these things. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I hope not. I hope not. Because I am trying to bring peace, if it can be done. I don't know if it can be done, to be honest. That's why we need to get prepared and get ready. I don't know if that can be done, but I'm trying. I'm getting my level-headed best, all right? So here we go. One thing is, many of you may be aware, I've started a group called the Freedom Restoration Foundation. We do have people in different parts of the country, including we've got a chapter in Phoenix. We got a chapter here in the Huntsville, Alabama area, North Alabama. And we've got members in other states. And what we've got, including members of our board. We are a nationwide organization. And we got people from other countries when they join. But most of our activities are centered on the United States right now, but that doesn't mean, freedom is good for everybody. Freedom is for everyone. Freedom knows no color. Freedom, if you go to the Declaration of Independence, let's go there for a second. Freedom is for everyone. People forget that stuff. So let me just remind you. Bear with me 1 second, okay? I know silence is terrible in these things. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah, we're really challenged in those areas today, especially that pursuit of happiness. But it does say we held these truths to be self-evident, that all men, they don't say green men, purple men, they don't say, anything like that. Don't say men that are 20 foot tall or 2 inches tall, all men. And that word men is taken to be inclusive of women, okay? So it's just a generic term. So they wrote back in the day. So that's where we're at. Freedom is for everyone. And if freedom is equally applied, then we can all live in prosperity. It's always people come in and try to game it and take advantage and take some people's freedoms for themselves and game the situation that causes trouble. So guys, we started this Freedom Restoration Foundation, and restoration isn't preservation. It's a step beyond that, if you get the drift there. But one of the things we're going to be pushing for in the near term, there's several things that's on our agenda, but one of the things that's going to be top on our agenda is the idea of sanctuary states. There's a lot of stuff we can do at the state level. Mississippi has already started something. They're trying to get the southeastern states involved in it for sanctuary states. This can spread. There's western and mountain states involved in something similar. So yeah, sanctuary states for, it may have to be several of our amendments. It says 1 and 2 there, but there can be other ones too. So of course you can find, you can email me if you want to join this thing, info@freedomrestorationfoundation.org, and put freedom in the title of the subject line of your email. And we are on Facebook. We are on MeWe. I don't know how long we'll be left up here with all this stuff going on the platforms. They may take it all down, but we are in the process of on the website, and the website will be freedomrestorationfoundation.org. That will be the website, freedomrestorationfoundation.org. We're currently building it. So, and the email's set up now. The Facebook site, MeWe site, we got active chats going on, and we will be coming out with suggestions and things to do. We have a list of legislation that we're tracking at the federal level. We got people involved at state level activities, and we're about to really amp up the state level stuff. So we see a lot of hope in this sanctuary state movement, and we're going to take on also sending letters to Congress and the House and House and the Senate. And what we'll do is we'll target individuals at subcommittee levels, hopefully initially, that we think we can get through to, that stop certain things from going through as much as possible. Bear in mind that they've got a huge agenda and they can't cram it all through at one time. And there is still at the moment judges who might favor us at the Supreme Court level for maintaining freedoms. I say us, I'm talking those of us that want freedoms, whatever the freedoms are, all the freedoms. Freedom should not be a partisan issue, okay? Now here's some ponder points. Now, so we're pushing this peaceably, but there's some of you that are out there that are planning to go places and do things. I do not advocate any violence. Remember that? I keep saying that. Just bear in mind, don't let them choose the time and place if you don't want to walk into an ambush or a mass roundup. And, a lot of people are reacting emotionally right now. I always tell you in tough times, stay calm, keep your wits about you, stay centered. Stay centered. Do not panic. I have heard other channels tell you that I will tell you when to panic. I will tell you never panic. Never panic. When you panic, you act stupid. People go irrational. They do stupid things. That's mob rule. That's where people get hurt. That's where you get irrational. You do stupid things. You get in trouble. You do more damage to your cause, whatever your cause might be, than you would otherwise. Even if you're in the middle of, it's going on. Don't panic. Stop. Think. Be smart. Keep your mind about you. Then you won't get in as much trouble. Okay, let's put it that way. So always stay centered. Don't panic. What I'm saying here is if you want to keep your head on your shoulders, then keep your head on your shoulders, which means don't panic. That means to use your head or you'll be, got it? All right, now here is something going down. That this is a pamphlet that the FBI has sent notice around, and they're talking about these events in state capitals and in DC. I don't know if there's any credibility to this. I put a video out asking about this yesterday, and I haven't, of all the groups and people that went out to, nobody seems to know anything about it. It strikes me as highly curious. It really makes me think that this thing is a setup. Now, maybe there are. They're claiming that there are certain groups, extremist groups that are putting this stuff out on certain secure comm sites and things like that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'm going to say this is highly suspect. What I will further say is don't go. Don't go to these things. Even if these other guys are going, you don't want to get caught in crossfire between them and the feds. There's going to be FBI. There's going to be National Guard. There's going to be all kind of stuff out there. And they're ready for this stuff. They're ready for it. And a lot of people feel like that this is exactly what one side of the aisle wants the other side to do. So they can then charge them and prosecute them and run all these laws through and take away more liberties. This is why you don't let them choose the time and place. Let's see, where's that at? Yeah, never let them choose the time and place. Never let them choose the time and place. That's just don't do that. Don't go there. And don't be violent. We got plenty to do. We got plenty. There's still hope that, that the country will hit the ditches so hard that people will be so unsatisfied that these people aren't going to be able to pass any legislation. The public will be so angry they won't be able to do anything. That 2 years, a lot of the Congress will come up for election. The Republicans are real close to being able to take over the Congress, and they might do it 2 years from now. They might take the House, maybe even the Senate. They might take it back. A third of the Senate comes up for election every 2 years. Each senator has a 6-year term. The House comes up, the entire House, every 2 years. And the Republicans made huge gains in the House this last time, and the Senate's 50-50. So even though the elections might be kind of wonker, if you might think that, I'm not saying it is or not, but whichever case is, there's a lot of opportunity there to keep keep it where it's not a one-party situation. One-party situation can always lead to a railroad train. You know what I mean? So at least two parties jam things up in the hill, which is probably a good thing to keep things jammed up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what the status of this thing is, these events, except for Lady Liberty appears to have a severe case of starpox and her underarm starpox there. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I got to find some humor, right? That's just my style. I can't help it. So always, and even in the heat of combat, find something to give you a little bit of sanity, even if it's humor. That's coming up real soon. 17th is 5 days from now. Well, really now, almost 4 days. Don't go there. Stay away. Stay away. Don't go. It's not worth it. We can do this stuff legislatively. Okay. That's my first take. My first take. So, other great quotes. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. These are quotes I got off comments from my channel. I do read my comments, guys. So the whole point of this one, the moral of this story is don't make peaceful revolution impossible. Don't take away people's right to assemble, to file grievances. At least let people have a say. Don't put the cap on the kettle. Okay? Not on a hot kettle. Don't on a pressure cooker. When you crucify a man, be careful you don't start a religion. Okay, left, you're crucifying a man who's got huge support in this country. This man's going to go out and start a news media. He is going to be more powerful on the outside, possibly. Of course, he might wind up in prison. You know what? Roger Stone said he might wind up in prison. And for that reason, It's kind of hard to buy some of the things people are saying with some of the psyops going on. But here's what I'm going to say. We must have faith in ourselves to do the right things. We must not allow the psyops to dash our hopes. A lot of people got hopes built up in false psyops, which we're going to go into in a minute. Our hearts must stay fixed on doing what is right. And in the end, we win. Now, here's some of the, what I think are psyops that I've been seeing. This individual, you know what? I hope he's right, but I have a hard time believing that tonight. This individual suddenly got a huge following. It's not, if you could, I didn't chop this off this much, this shot way up on the other side. He's there posting, he's British, but he's posting all these videos, the background American flag. This individual claims, look, he's got a huge channel, more than 10 times larger than mine. I mean, you know, hey, no, it's like 12 times bigger than my channel, his channel is. And he claims to personally know Q. That's his claim. He claims that when all this stuff goes down, he's going to get a job in the United States, and he's going to Scottsdale, Arizona. And he claims Q's going to do, Q said this, and he said that Q, it was originally 4 people using a one of the qubit quantum bit computers starting back in 2016. He said there was either 200 or 300 generals that started all this stuff. And there's still that number of generals involved to this day. Yeah, active duty generals. Okay, all right. That's what I understood him to say. I'm having a hard time following that, considering what I know about the staff these days, the upper staff of the military. I'm having a hard time buying into that. We're going to know in just a matter of a few days, or within a week, if this man is right or wrong. It's going to be pretty obvious. And, you know, I wonder how many people continue to follow him. He'll create another story, another narrative. You know, I like the preachers that tell you that doomsday is tomorrow morning. And when it don't come tomorrow morning, they got another excuse for it. And it's, well, it's going to be next week or the week after, next month, next year. I looked at the stars wrong. You know, the sand fell wrong. Oops, there was this passage in the Bible. I forgot this little piece over here, you know, and they'll do, you know, mathematics on their English or whatever. But this guy is, you know, this is one of the guys talking about, you know, umpity thousands, you know, 80,000, you know, affidavit arrests coming, and you know, he's saying all these generals are going to do this, that. You know, I'm going to tell you, Mark Miley is not behind this, and none of the joint chiefs of staff entirely came out against any insurrection act or anything like that, any action like that. They're going to support the transition to Biden. So I don't know where this guy's coming from. And Roger Stone himself said, this is not true. Roger Stone debunked this. And Roger Stone knows the president. I don't know if this man knows a Q or not, but Roger Stone does know Trump. He does know T. This man may or may not know Q, but Stone knows T. S knows T. X is right next to T. Check the alphabet. Yeah, this was one of those affidavits that this guy supposedly signed. Yeah, and his signature is correct, and this guy's position is what it's said to be. But I've seen another website that claims that this stuff is not legit. I have seen a website that claims that. I don't know. But this is a guy who is saying, hey, they did it all over in Italy, and they got a guy confessed to it, and it changed the tabulators, that it changed what we do here. Well, you know, if that's true, that is a bombshell, if it's true. But Stone says there's nothing's being done here. True or not, Stone says nothing is being done here. And I don't know. Like I've seen other, but of course, you know, it would be debunked whether it was true or not. It would definitely be debunked. So, fact of the matter is, I don't know what the fact of the matter is on this. But Stone says there's nothing being done vis-a-vis this, and that seems to be the case. So what it looks like is that our POTUS is going to be stepping down. That is what it looks like. Not conceding, but he will be stepping down, and Mr. B is the next to be. That's what it looks like. Mr. B is the next to be. He will be sworn in on the 20th, unless there's something else cooking. But that's the way it looks. I don't see anything that, I've seen all that other traffic, all that stuff. I've got a zillion people messaging me left and right and up and down. Oh yeah, there's supposed to have been a president was supposed to talk about this at 8 o'clock yesterday and revealed everything. Then he was supposed to do it again at 8 o'clock Central Time today and revealed everything. Did it happen? No. What has happened is Pompeo spoke yesterday, the Voice of America, and Trump spoke today at the wall. In these two speeches, neither one of them left any hint about any of these things. They've all talked about a smooth transition. And Trump has called for law and order. He's asked people to obey the law, to not get violent. Okay? So that comes straight from the man. Don't be violent. So there we go. I'm going to share a little video now. And I'm going to share a link to this video with you guys too. This is a funny video. It's got to do with speech, the logic of limiting speech. Okay, this guy, some of you may have seen this guy before. He's kind of funny, and he's on the conservative side. I'm not going to play the whole thing. We're just going to play a little snip here, just for your entertainment, and for the gratis of showing it, I will put the link to his site here. But here we go.
What do you hate most about free speech? Hate speech? It's everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, and if people didn't have the right to speak, then there would be no more hate speech. Yes. Brilliant.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I shared that. Excuse me, guys. Pardon me. I don't believe I hit share. I got to cue it back up.
Speech first, and then, she's in.
Okay, hang on. My bad. It's late. It is 10. Hang on. It is 20:56 my time. Okay. My bad. I didn't hit share again. Yeah, so Greg, why don't you edit it out? Because it's late. And I got a day job and many other things. I don't have all day to edit stuff. It takes a lot of time to put together what I do. But I have other things I must do too. Hang on. Where is this? Here it is. All right, guys. My bad. My apologies. You heard part of it. Here we go. I don't want to play the whole thing. Let's get right about there, I think.
What do you hate most about free speech? Hate speech? It's everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, and if people didn't have the right to speak, then there would be no more hate speech. Yes. Brilliant. I not only wish we didn't have the right to speech and hate speech, I wish we didn't even have the right to talk about hate speech. I hate rights. Revoking all the speeches would cleanse the world of hate and everything. Good. I hate hate. And then you'd have a loving world, born from the hate of freedom of speech. Hate's the only way to express love. Is talking about the hate of freedom of speech hate speech? No, it's communism. That's much better. But we're calling it virtue while the communist subversion indoctrinates the sheep through the mainstream media. For how long? Until the next election cycle. Biden and Harris, 4 more years, as if we had a choice. They stopped the spread of ideas. I love that because I hate ideas. We should kill ideas. That's a great idea. Ideas are the worst. People can think them and then spread them through words. Barf shouldn't be able to do that. It puts people at risk of thinking for themselves.
Oh, we can't have that.
Do you know how dangerous free-thinking people are? They're like if you gave a polar bear a gun and then put it in a room full of children covered in soy-based meat. Yeah, I know. Polar bears love that kind of thing. Free-thinking people would ruin the world and the new world order. Do you like what big tech is doing with the genocide of free speech? Yeah, love it. So
all right, that's enough. You can't play a whole video like that, So I do it here as commentary to let you see. I mean, really, truly, how do you parlay how do you handle the logic of getting rid of free speech? You see it's got its limits. When you really play it through, it don't make a lot of sense, except to the one-sided notion. And it only works on the one-sided, but when the shoe's on the other foot, you'd be totally unhappy with it, right? So come on, guys. We got to have free speech. Guys, freedom matters. I did a video called Freedom Matters, by the way. All right, it's late. It is now 10:58 on deck. Actually, 20:58. It's top military time here. So I'm going to just tell you guys to stay home. Stay out of the fray. If there should be martial law declared, lay low. I don't, it could come from either side, perhaps. Well, it's supposedly got to come from the president, but who knows what's going to come in these next few weeks, especially the next, few days between now and the 20th. This whole country can come unglued, absolutely. And afterwards, because you start passing these laws, you start cornering the animal, and then the animal thinks you're going to eat it. Not a good thing. So if you're the person cornering, think about that. Do you really want to corner a wild animal, especially one that's got like 48 million votes? A population in this country. We're talking half the country, guys. It's pretty much half the country, one way or another. Pretty much, as much on the difference between one side of the vote and the other side of the vote, whatever you want to count it, proportionally, in aggregate of population is not fundamentally that different. It's always a little margin that makes the difference in the last several elections to how it goes. And whatever happens at margin, we're not talking about that today, okay? That's not permitted on this platform. We're not talking about that. But my point is not even that. My point is this. There is, when it goes from one side to the other, the people on the other side, should still have the freedom to talk, to speak. If one side to try to evoke it and take it all away from the other side, you think you're going to have a permanent monopoly with that? You think that's going to go well? I mean, you're wrestling with something that's about your size. You really want to do that? You think that's going to go over well? I've been talking in several videos here about balkanization, about the potential for civil war. That's where that can go. If you're throwing gas on the fire, yeah, you can expect to excite some ire. You don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that. So let's hope that you will listen to people when they start writing you letters and calling you saying, hey, don't go there. We want freedom. Pay attention to it. I'm talking to the people that would want to take those freedoms away, whoever they are, from whichever side. Freedom is precious. I stand for freedom. I don't stand for any political party. I stand for freedom, for human rights, human dignity, right to speak, right to assemble peaceably. That's what it calls for in the Constitution, peaceably. Those are the things I stand for, amongst others. Freedom. Freedom. All right. These, somehow people got ahead. Freedom is bad. It's not. So I know you watch it this long. Tell me, say, hey, I love freedom. If you don't love freedom, say, I hate speech. Go along with that video. I hope we don't get any comments like that. But let's see. Leave your comments below. How do you stand? What do you think? Most of all, though, keep your head low. Keep your head low. Keep your eyes wide open, head on a swivel. That don't mean you can't keep it low. You know what I mean? Be aware. Be situation aware. We're in perilous times. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends. You can't help your family and friends if you're not there. So don't get yourself in a situation where you're not there. Yeah, you don't want to be locked up or laying in a pine box somewhere. Yeah, I don't usually pine anymore, but you know what I mean. All right, my friends, we're in tough times. Times gets tough to get going. So let's hang in there. We can get through this. Just hang in there. Friends, with all that said, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Good night.